Hey everyone, my name is Meera. Welcome back to my channel. Last year I watched 27 K-dramas. They were a mix of crime, mystery, and just straight up romance. It wasn't too difficult for me to pick the best K-dramas of 2024 because these were an easy 9 to 10 stars for me. Now, this is not in any order of preference, but the first one is The Judge from Hell. This is the story of Justicia, a demon from hell who has been banished to Earth. She has to find 10 murderers whom the justice system has let off and punish them by sending them back to hell. This entire thing is triggered by the death of a judge named Kang Binna. So Justicia essentially goes into her body and begins to carry out her missions as Kang Binna. Her path crosses that of this police officer Handaun, who lost his family at a young age to a brutal murder incident. I feel like this show was made especially for Pakshine. In fact, I might go as far as to say that this is her best work till date. She brings the sass, the vengeance with such flair that you can't help but stay glued to the screen. The plot might get a little redundant as she and her team are hunting down criminals one by one in each episode. So that does get a little repetitive, but I feel like this show is definitely worth the watch for the main leads and the sense of satisfaction you get from watching them set all wrongs right. I was surprised to note that this show did not get as much hype as I thought it would, at least as much as I think it deserves. There are so many iconic scenes in this show, and I don't know if anyone could have done it better than Pakshini. Fair warning, there is a lot of violence and bloodshed, so if that puts you off, you might want to reconsider watching this show. I rated it 9 out of 10 stars. It would have been a 10 on 10, but sometimes the violence got a little bit too much for me. The second one is Love Next Door. The plot of this is simple. It's about childhood friends who grow distant over the years, but they are reunited in their 30s. What sold me on this show is the many storylines that give it depth. The two main characters are Choi Seung-hyo and Pae Song-nyu. Now, Seung-hyo is an architect. He has his own architecture firm, has made a name for himself and won awards. Song-nyu is that eldest daughter who always got great grades. She tried not to make her parents worry and has got a great job. Something happens causing her to abandon her life in the US and come back to Korea. As these two meet again, there is some friction to their friendship, there is a lot of banter, and they're both carrying their own emotional baggage. This is a classic friends to lovers K-drama, but it's also so much more than that. It's about found family, healing, chasing your own passion. Also, this show does something different from a lot of classic romances in the sense that it doesn't show you one of the leads pining for the other for decades. As Seung-hyo and Song-nyu grow apart, they both have their own love lives. It's only when they start hanging out again that they begin to grow closer. I love that Song-hyo, after having lived the ideal life in the eyes of society, decides that it's time to prioritize herself. She takes a step back and truly begins to appreciate slow living and trying to discover what it is that she truly wants to achieve in life. There are 4 elderly women in this show who call themselves the Lavender Women. Their friendship has been shown so beautifully. Part of this group is Seung-hyo and Song-yu's mom, who've also been friends for a long time. This friendship of the Lavender Woman is timeless despite all the ups and downs that they go through. Even the storyline of the second lead characters is super heartwarming. Changmo is the best friend that everyone wants. She is blunt to the face, she is super loyal, her personality just shines throughout the show. There may be some things about the show that you don't agree with, but the decisions that these characters take just shows you how human and flawed they truly are. All in all, the cast and crew have done a great job. Love Next Door is also well written and it goes beyond being just a typical romance K-drama. The third one is Flex X Cop. After how much I loved watching Military Prosecutor Doberman, I was so thrilled to hear that An Bo-hyun is going to be starring in a similar show. Well, similar in terms of genre, not so much story. Here, he plays the role of a man who's from a chaebol family. Jinso doesn't have a job. He's initially shown to be shallow, but it's only much later in the series that we understand his backstory. One day, Chinsu gets caught up in a case that the police is trying to solve. So, to prevent his family name from being caught in a scandal, His family and the police together decide to hire him as a namesake detective who joins the violent crime team. From there on, the story follows him and his team solving different cases. But with each episode, we gradually get to know that there's a connection in all of these crimes that they're solving to his past. The people on his team just think of him as a rich dude who's not going to take his job seriously. But Jinsu's character development surprises both the team and us viewers, as he turns out to be someone who is essentially misunderstood. He has strong morals. It's all the backstory and the fleshing out of these characters that gives the show a more wholesome vibe. There's a good bit of humor. There's also action that keeps you on the edge of your seat. Something I also liked about this show is that the dynamic between the two main leads is well written. The show doesn't try to force a romance. Over the course of the 12 episodes, several different cases are covered, but it's the overarching plot that holds it all together and makes for a very immersive, entertaining show. The next K-drama is called Pyramid Game. I have watched this twice, and that's saying something, so you know how good it is. It's about a girl, Suji, who transfers to this high school, only to realize that something very wrong is going on. Her classmates participate in this game called the Pyramid Game. It's basically an app where every student votes for 5 people in their class. Now, through the game, everyone gets assigned a rank from A to F. So the students with the most votes become like the elite. They are ranked A, and the ones with 0 votes get ranked F. As for the rules of this game, the ones at the top of the pyramid can systematically bully the ones who have little to no votes. So it's upon Suji to challenge the popular girls and bring this game down. To some of you, this may sound like a typical high school bullying plot, but it has been made so well. It is so addictive. The characters have been very well written. Hona does an incredible job of playing Suji. Every time she came on screen, I wanted to cheer her on because she brings so much courage and conviction to her character. Going into this show, some of you may find it difficult to believe that these students get away with all this crap and that there's no parental or adult intervention. But as you get to know more about the story and realize what kind of people these girls are surrounded by, it all begins to make sense. There's not a dull moment in this show. In fact, you can binge watch the whole thing in a day or two. I definitely see myself rewatching it again. Also, I love the soundtrack of this show. I rated Pyramid Game 9.5 out of 10 stars. The last K-drama I'm going to be talking about is Lovely Runner. I love time travel shows and don't mind a convoluted plot. So if you're the same, you're definitely going to enjoy watching this show. The trope that this K-drama builds upon is that of star-crossed lovers. No matter the time and space, these two are meant to be and that they'll definitely find their way back to each other. Imsol, the main character, has been a fan of this K-pop idol Sonjae for the longest time. Even after an accident that leaves her unable to walk, his music gives her solace and strength. One day, when she suddenly hears news of Sanjay's death, she is unable to come to terms with it and accidentally travels back in time to her high school days to prevent him from dying. This was way before Sanjay becomes a celebrity. This has got to be the best K-drama of the year for me. I know I'll be watching it again and again in the future. Time travel is actually a crucial element that moves the plot forward here. I wasn't the biggest fan of Imsol's character initially, but as we get further into the story, she definitely grows on you. Many of you probably watch K-dramas as an escape from reality, so if you don't like using too much of your mental energy, I don't think this show will work for you. But I loved being made to think and to actively connect the pieces of the story with each episode, because one moment you're in the past, one moment you're in the present, and there's a lot of timeline overlap that keeps going on. There are times when you're wondering which timeline this scene is from, but eventually it all makes sense. As with most dramas I've spoken about in this video, the actors have done a commendable job. Hyun Sok and Kim Hae Yoon are perfect for their roles. Even Song Gon Hee's portrayal of Kim Tae Song is so convincing that it gives you second lead syndrome. With multiple timelines and a sense of mystery lingering throughout, this K-drama doesn't need many subplots or storylines. It covers serious topics like depression and failure, but there are also lighthearted moments in the show that bring a smile on your face. You know how some shows are simply created to tell a beautiful love story and to show you how powerful love can be? Lovely Runner is that show. Also, I loved the soundtrack. There's something about it that's just so wistful and magical. It makes the scenes so much more meaningful. If you haven't watched Lovely Runner yet, I highly recommend that you do so. Some other shows that almost made it to this list are Brewing Love, Chongnyeon, Queen of Tears, The Atypical Family, and Mr. Plankton. While I did enjoy watching them, there were several aspects of these shows that I wasn't a fan of, and on the whole, the first five that I mentioned were easy winners as the best K-dramas of 2024 for me. That's it for this video. Let me know which K-dramas you enjoyed watching last year. I also watched a lot of Chinese stuff, which is something new for me because I don't watch Chinese dramas. But there were some great ones there too. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you soon with another video. Bye!